Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to another video for you guys today. And we're back after another win. And doesn't necessarily feel like a win, especially the way that we played. And I know that a lot of fans are also expecting more out of the performance too, and they expect us to get more out of the game against Zenit. But we are going to delve into it. We're going to talk about the way Zenit played. We're going to talk about Chelsea and how good they were defensively, how poor we were in terms of chance creation. We're going to talk about Romelu Lukaku. We're going to talk about the inside forwards. We'll delve into everything Chelsea as well. I know a lot of people have been talking about Mason Mount in the comment section. We will go into Mason Mount. Don't worry. We'll go into all of the individual performances as well. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting stream. Big up everyone in the comment section. As always, smash the like and subscribe button on your way in. Big up Mo, Luke Tucker, Go AM. Who else? Harsh. Big up Nippon in the comment section as well. Big up yourself, G. Oluwasi and all the other guys involved. Big up all you guys. Smash the like and subscribe button while you guys are making your way in. And don't forget as well, if you guys want to be involved with winning a chance to win this beautiful Chelsea shirt, any super chat, any donation puts you in the lottery. We're still accepting donations until the 12th of October. And then we're going to run the lottery, and whoever wins it gets this beautiful Chelsea home kit. So big up everyone that's locked in. What else we saw in the comment section? Big up Oluwesi saying, what did you say on the Don Robbie show you against Slates in the comment section? Bro, I just exist.
R9.
That's all I need.
United.
Everything, man. The United slander, the Christensen prop, the R9 prop. No one wanted to hear it. But I told you, I'm not here to be liked. I know I'm going to be hated going on there, so I'm running with it. I'm going to be a bigger heel than Prime the Miz, and I'm all here for it because the amount of salt in the comment section is glorious. Hate me, love me. I'm still going to be in your face screaming champions of Europe for the next 8 months. You already know. But big up everyone that's locked in again. Smash the like and subscribe button. Fata, we'll start with you, seeing as you were at the game, bro. What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think first half for me, I think we really poor in terms of the ball progression in that midfield. I feel like somehow in that final third as well, something doesn't feel right for me. That Lukaku was isolated a lot most of the time in that first half, and there's loads of clear chances that we've had, but our final third passes has been dreadful yesterday. Mason Mount again, you know, I love Mason Mount. Don't get me wrong, but yesterday he had a howler yesterday, and I have no idea why people keep bigging up him like like Johnny Wood, But Ziyech as well has been non-existent as well yesterday, and I feel like something like doesn't feel right. Something doesn't add up. Very different. It's like it's very different compared to the one against Saturday against Aston Villa. I feel like that's why we need Werner to come on in that second half just to stretch their defense up. And you lot can call me all you want, but that's what Werner can do in that second half. We're really missing him big time, just to spread the defense up in the Zenit. But luckily we get the goal, and that's the most important thing in this Champions League time.
Yeah, I was saying during around half time as well. I thought Timo Werner should have been one of our first substitutes in this game because for me, the one up front just wasn't working. Like, we only got the victory off a nice ball in from Azpilicueta. We know what he can do from that position when he whips in crosses. We remember all the deliveries back to Alvaro Morata back in 17-18. But playing one up front just wasn't working in that sort of game. You just had Lukaku heavily isolated. Maybe in hindsight, like, I wanted Mount to stay on the field and then just take Ziyech off. But hindsight being 2020 and everything like that, we could have brought on Kai Havertz earlier as well as Timo Werner. And then we might have looked a little bit more prolific going forward. We just weren't creating anything. Like, it's partly because Lukaku was dropping deep a lot, but he also had to drop deep because we were so slow to give him the ball. Like, there was one perfect point in the second half where I think it was Mason Mount that had the ball, and what was it? Romelu Lukaku was making a run in behind the defenders, and he was calling for the ball, and the ref, and he just didn't lay the ball forward to him to the point where he had to drop deep, come back another 10, 15 yards, and then receive the ball. But as soon as you drop deep, there's 2 or 3 Zenit players around them every single time. You just can't do anything, and that's one of the biggest problems with our chance creation. And it's just that we're just really slow in terms of finding the play. And we've had this sort of problem throughout the season. I don't know if it's a chemistry thing. I don't know if it's something that's going to grow within the rest of the season. But for right now, we're seeing the same problems happen again and again. I'm guessing GoAM's dropped something mad. He said, think of the child in the crowd that would have died if Aspie's cross would have gone to Tappy's head instead of Lukaku. Oh my God. R9 is the winner and the hero. Big up the R9 prop as well. Oh, for fuck's sake. And how were you able to spin this to Tammy slander? I'll never know. But big up yourself anyway, man.
He's a genius,
we'll go
that's
into it.
why.
We won't just talk about Mount. We'll talk about the chance creation in itself. And do you think it's a chemistry problem because we continue to rotate our front three every single match? Or do you feel like it's just a case of maybe the players that we're having aren't good enough? That's an open one to whoever wants to.
Well, look,
I think it's. I think last year it was easier because it was more fluid in terms of the guys could swap positions potentially. Where it's like now we've got the big man up front. He's solely going to be in that middle and solely for the most of the game stay central, maybe drop a bit deeper sometimes, but he shouldn't have to. Whereas maybe Ziyech and Mount in this formation, and I think that's an issue as well sometimes with this formation, aren't suited to be the best support. I still think no matter how many chances or big chances Mount creates, I still don't think relying on him to be our most creative creative source is going to do well for us. He's a very good and will be a very good hard-working 8. And Ziyech as well. Ziyech didn't take the chance yesterday as well. But I'm thinking if you're going to play that formation, you can play one of those players, but you need either possibly a Havertz or a Pulisic or a Werner up there with Lukaku close to him that they're able to run off or create space or something like that. With these two in this formation, I don't think suit playing with Lukaku going forward. And that's also maybe something else to discuss. Maybe sometimes we need to change the formation in certain games. Because I thought that was crying out for formation change before the goal. Because we weren't creating anything at all for our wide players at all.
I don't know if we could speak on formation just yet. Look, if they're not playing well in this formation, you throw another formation in, then you're just confusing the whole thing. I think it comes down to the players that we had on the pitch. For somebody that's supposed to be the next captain of the football team, he's supposed to be the star boy and everything else. He surely didn't show it on the pitch yesterday. I don't care who you are. You cannot say that he had a good game. He wasn't good at all. And I'm tired of hearing, well, he ran around a lot. I don't want to hear that either. You're a forward. Your job is to either score or create chances to score. Or maybe, this little thing called an assist that leads directly to a goal. He did none of that. Ziyech did none of that. They're the two similar of players. You cannot have them both on the same pitch. This game was calling out for a runner or somebody that will actually make runs. We brought Kai Havertz on. It all changed because somebody actually made a run. Doesn't matter if you get the ball. If you make the run, the defense has to account for you and go with you. That opens up other space other people can play in. If you just stand there and you're static and waiting for R9 to do something, that's what you saw in the first half. And that's what you saw in the first 60 minutes. It was not good. People need to understand Mason Mount is a number 8. He is not an inside forward. He is not a winger. He is an 8. He plays those positions as an 8. So if you're going to play him, play a 5-3-2 and play Timo Werner or Christian Pulisic or Kai Havertz next to Romelu Lukaku, somebody who knows how to make runs, knows how to play the 1-2, and let Mount arrive late in the boxes, which is what he's actually good at. Do not force him in a position he cannot play. I'm sorry. I've seen enough of it. He didn't do it for Tuchel last year. He doesn't do it this year. I'm done with it now. We have other players on our team that can play those positions better than Mason Mount and Hakim Ziyech. It just is what it is. Ziyech is better when he's in a 4-3-3 where he's out on the wings and he has a little bit more space. When he's in if he's in close quarters, when somebody's parking the bus, The man cannot create from that. So, it just is. It is what it is. We need to just stop all the agendas. If you have an agenda and your agenda was shot down yesterday, sorry, that's why you don't have agendas. Your only agenda should be Chelsea Football Club. And if that means your favorite player doesn't play, I'm sorry, he doesn't play.
My guy,
Look at Jem's face.
still running.
You know,
I don't give a fuck.
Jem, he was.
Look,
he
AC
man
was
of the
good.
match
Our
last
defense,
night, Jem. Come on, man. He was man of the match
except for one moment, our defense was brilliant yesterday. So you can't say anything about the defense. The midfield actually played well. Kovacic was more creative than anybody in the forward line. I'm not going to count Lukaku in that because his job is not to create, it's to score. And he had nobody to create too because, again, no runs. But Kovacic played well. Jorginho played well.
Games, which was a jarring part because I get what you're saying. I don't mind. We know Romelu Lukaku's good at hold-up play. And despite him not leading to anything, I don't blame him for being in that position. He was in that position because the passes to him were just too slow. But when you want him to hold up the ball, you want players to make those runs in behind.
Yeah.
Mount didn't
happen.
do it. Ziyech didn't do it. We had to get Reece James to drag himself in a bit further inside before we could even have someone that would be on the end of those. And fair play to Reece because he did come inside a little bit more in the second half and he tried to give us a bit more options. And for the most part, it didn't work out for him, but he's not really meant to be the player on the end of those 1-2s. And he was forced into that position because nobody else would do it.
Well, Ziyech, actually, Alonso did it in the second half too. They would put Kovacic out wider and bring Alonso in for somebody else to make those runs. And he almost got a goal off something like that.
Yeah,
so,
that was a very good bit of play in the box in the second half. I recall.
Again, if you're having to bring your wing backs inside because your two underneath the striker are not doing that, that's a problem. It is a problem, and it has nothing to do with formation. It has everything to do with how the players play in their role, and they were stinky yesterday. Just it is what it is.
For me, yesterday, I was getting annoyed, and I am not happy, Bunny, with the Chelsea performance because I thought we should have made a statement yesterday. But I was not happy because the intensity of play, especially in that first half, was so lacking. We didn't pass the ball fast enough. We didn't press hard enough for them. We didn't create enough. It was mainly in the middle of the midfield. It was just, for me, absolutely poor. And unfortunately, I know if he's in that chat, I'm not trying to upset you, Johnny. I'm going to be completely honest. Mount and Ziyech are part of that because they are the two people who need to be quick passers, need to pull that ball around so the Lukaku can get in that box and score the goals. Because they weren't doing their job, fortunately, we was lackluster first half, and we shouldn't have been. We're defending champions. We shouldn't be like that. We should be making a statement and say, hang on, our other English side lost 2-1 to Young Boys. Let's make a statement and show what England teams can really do in the Champions League. And all we did was luckily get a 1-0 victory from a brilliant ball by Aspilicueta and a brilliant header by Lukaku. The only player that I'm happy with what he did was when Rudiger made that run because he brought the game back into the fans, back in the atmosphere, back up, and intensifized the play. And I'm fed up. And it's not just certain play; it's all of them. They need to up their game. It's just poor.
But Wayne, I just want to go back to the point you said about Man United. You say we make a statement, but they lost to Young Boys. I love the team Young Boys, but I think that you got to admit we did win. We were the team in England who won. I think we did make a statement saying that we could still win. I agree, horrible performance, but at least we didn't lose like Man United did.
Yeah, you can say at least.
I'm glad we won too, but to me, winning is the expectation at Chelsea. All right, so you get a certain amount of love from me for the win, but that's what we do. That's what I expect to win. I want to see the style of play, and I want to see bright passes. I want to see some creativity. I want to see us win in a convincing manner. I thought yesterday, fair play to Zenit. They packed the box. They were 5-6 people in the midfield. They played very tight and compact. But when you're not getting creativity from your two midfielders, which we don't, and we don't really ask them to do that, and you're not getting creativity from your two wings or your inside forwards, then you're in a real situation, because now you're relying on one of your center backs, Asby, to deliver some sort of miracle ball into Lukaku, which lucky for us happened. But I can't. I'm with Jester. I cannot stand this. He's giving energy and he's running around the pitch. He's a forward. I don't care if he runs around the pitch. All right. I need him to score goals and assist. I don't need him to run around. He's not playing in a 4-3-3 as a number 8 where he can run around and be bright and play defense and get in the midfield. No, he's being asked to play forward, which means I need goals, I need assists, I need creativity. And he never does that. We saw this experiment with Lampard when he was playing as a left winger. And every game, all of us on these streams after the games, he's not a left winger. What's he doing on the left wing? He can't beat anyone one-on-one. He doesn't have any creativity in his feet. You saw the one way he can create space for himself in the second half, where he did a quick flick and got by the center back and was fouled. That's the one way he can get space for himself in the final third, and that doesn't happen that often throughout the game. So, for me, I need more creativity from those inside forwards. If those are going to be the guys that are going to play, then we're in a real sticky spot if teams decide to pack in against us. So
this down here is just glorious.
Yeah, I'm saying even Lingardinho had a bigger impact than Banner Boy yesterday. I just think that meant Mason Mount. Fuck's sake. Needs bench time followed by Leeds loan, I'm afraid. Man just said we'll send him to fucking high pressing FC and we'll see how it works.
I don't want Mount to have that impact on a game, please.
But question, I know, that type of impact. I know you guys think
what do you think
should have came on. Do you guys hear me? I know you guys should have said Werner came on, but do you think something's going on behind the scenes? Because do you think Tuchel knows something that we don't? Why hasn't he? He should at least got at least 20 minutes yesterday.
He didn't even use all his subs. He didn't even use all 5 subs.
I have a theory. If he plays for us in Champions League, we can't sell him to a Champions League team this year.
That's not even
it's not even that. It's getting to the point now where he's more, and I keep saying this, he's more impactful than Hakim Ziyech. I don't care what anyone says. You can sit here and slag him up as much as you want, but at the end of the day, Hakim Ziyech, what is he? What does he do? Because I'm lost in what it is that he does as an individual.
He's supposed to be creative, but he's just not doing it.
He doesn't do that. We lack create.
Turning into Ross Barkley, Jem. Pre-season he's great.
Oh no! Don't say that, Andrew.
Don't say that.
We lack a player that actually.
You know what Timo Werner do? He plays the system what Klopp does.
It's a bit iffy.
It's in the micro, Jem.
What about now?
Yeah,
it's muffled though. It's muffled. It's very muffled.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. It's just you're a bit muffled.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I'm not sure what it is. Big up Todd Miller as well, saying R9 all day. You ready? No, man. Only one R9 won the Scudetto, and it's not the Brazilian Donny. So it's a pressure day R9.
Oh my god, we gotta roll with the prop. We gotta roll with the prop.
That's right, man. Do you know how many people get insulted by it? It's glorious. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you're saying that there's an issue behind the scenes with Werner, I didn't really think it was him. I thought it was more Ben Chilwell. Like, how has he only had 4 minutes in this entire season so far?
He's dealing with the.
I think Tuchel's trying to ease him in still, man. Yeah.
Southgate tax right there, brother.
Yeah, but so did James and Mount, and both of them have been playing.
No. He did because he didn't get any minutes.
No.
Because he didn't get any minutes at all.
Well, they're saying it has to do with his England involvement. And there's probably something. There could be something else going in his personal life that they're not going to divulge, right?
Didn't Tuchel say it was something?
Could be a personal thing. Could be.
Yeah. We don't know
he said
that.
He was mentally tired, which to me means he was probably disappointed in the fact that he didn't play for England, which I can understand, given he was the best left back in England last year. But
Europe.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse to why he shouldn't have started that game.
Personal issues or something? I don't know. I heard something. I mean, he said in the conference as well that he's suffering some personal mental state. I'm not too sure if I quoted that correctly, but something personal that he had. I'm not too sure what that was about.
Yeah, it's very possible again. And I couldn't disagree more with this statement. he has not consistently delivered.
Me
for
too. Like we need
18
to
goal
Last
involvements is
season,
not
I'd say
consistent.
he did.
No,
No.
18 goal involvements
Oh,
is not consistent. Not for the minutes he put in.
I would make the exceptions of saying, yeah, Champions League, I guess, and a knockout, but over the season, he has not. Like, I've been pointing this out, and people say I have an agenda. It's just facts, and I'm happy you guys are coming to realize. Like, he does. I don't think he has that vision in the final third. Like, I just don't think
He does
has.
because he dribbles with his head down constantly.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Am I better?
Yeah, there you go.
Much better.
Oh, okay, that's better.
Also, by the way, just before you go,
Preach.
Jem, Haroon, you're in the lottery for the free home kit. Big up yourself, man. We just put you in.
Who is me? No, I'm joking.
No,
You
Haroon. You're in. After
That time you owe me a kit. The amount of bullshit that's come out of your mouth. Anyway, I'm joking.
Hey, same energy goes to you, Maggie. You owe me a new kit too.
There's a comment saying T's one don't count.
Yesterday was clear and evident what the issue was in the first half, and for me it was clear that Mason Mount, we had no chemistry. Mason Mount, Hakim Ziyech, and Lukaku didn't work and the reason it didn't work is because Mason Mount and Ziyech want ball to feet, which means that they want to go to the midfield, they want to drop. But what happens is once they pick the ball up and they turn around, there's no one in front of them making runs other than a Lukaku, and that's why when you see Lukaku in the first half getting ganged up on in many ways, every time he tried to hold the ball up, there was no one around him. And part of the issue was the chemistry with it. And yes, Ziyech, Mason Mount, he wasn't great. His final third passing was poor. I get that. However, Ziyech, for me, is not an excuse anymore. He's dropped down the pecking order massively. This is why when you see going into the second half, when Havertz came on the pitch, we looked more fluid because we had someone closer to Lukaku that then opened up spaces for us to allow us to run into positions. And the issue we had is that we didn't have that in the first half, and we made it hard for ourselves. And hats off to Zenit, because we didn't know what we were coming up against. None of us really knew what to expect. This team that we came up against hadn't lost a game since March this year, So
he did say it. He said, "Don't look past it."
He did say we'd win 5-0 as well.
No one listened to it. But what I'm trying to get at, very quickly is that what Tuchel has to do for me is he has to now narrow down and suss out very quickly who can play with who and who can't. And yesterday was very clear and evident that Ziyech and Mount don't work. I don't mind rotation. Rotation's cool. But it's about getting the rotation right with the players that you've got on the pitch. You can't just play players for the sake of it because you want to give them minutes and they don't work, like we saw yesterday. And Ziyech and Mount don't work because they both go to the ball. They don't make runs and they're very easy to play up against. That's the way I see it anyway. So,
yeah. I said 5-0 because I always say 5-0.
I know, I messed it.
5-0, yeah, you did say 5-0. But it is what it is, and that game last year, we wouldn't have won that. You'd have put Timo Werner up front, and Aspie whipping that ball in around the back. We would have drew that game. There's no, and this is why when I look at social media, I don't understand it sometimes, because now we're moaning that we're struggling to break these teams, and we scored only one goal, and it was a poor performance. But last season we would have dropped points. I'd rather us not play and smash teams 3-4-0 and win like that, and gain points in that way, because we've got someone that we can rely on to pull it in the back of the net, than be stressed out as fuck like we was last season, watching us make chance after chance and no one can put it in the back of the net because we haven't got anyone clinical.
That's why Big Rom is a better signing than Ronaldo.
There you go. So,
I do agree with you. I think we would have drawn that game last year. I think
or lost.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair to say.
That's why Big Rom is a better signing, and I don't debate anybody on that.
Yeah,
we had 0 shots on target.
Let's be realistic. If we didn't have Lukaku, there was no other ways. We were not scoring.
That's very true. He's not clinical though, Xavi. He's not clinical though. That's
he's not.
That's all we heard.
He's not clinical.
Let me say something about the Timo Werner. I'm not his fan. Believe me, I'm not his biggest fan. I didn't want him in the beginning to come to Chelsea. If I was true, I did not want him because he didn't impress me. But if you play Timo Werner to the best position that he is, it's the style of like Klopp does, that midfield that cross the ball immediately, like 1-2 touches cross into the side, and Timo Werner run into that space. That's his best thing. He's not gonna go one-on-one versus defender. He's not going to go from the wing one-on-one versus defender. That's not what his best thing. That's what Pulisic does. He runs into defenders. That's why Pulisic was the best fit for yesterday's game, not Timo Werner. People who saying Timo Werner should have been there, it will be even more disappointed, and you're going to call him a fraud again for 50 million. That's not his job. His job is run through spaces, not run against the defenders. If anything, he could play closer to Lukaku.
Yeah.
If it was that game, but he didn't. Zenit was so tight in the back. There was one, like I said, Zenit did not lost a match since March. You can't just ignore that. They're a really good defensive, solid team. So the only way we did it, and what Tuchel did from what it was impressive, he made Slolonzo go wider. He started go a little bit closer to the sidelines. You see what I'm saying? So as soon as Alonso went closer to the sideline, the game spread up. We took those three defenders, stretched them. And that's what Chilwell did better than Slolonzo, because Chilwell start to run that channel. You can. Yeah. It's two different games between Villa and Zenit. There is completely two different. And people who say that it's the same game should check the knowledge of the game itself, because it's a completely different games. I said I'm not gonna critique Chelsea versus Villa on the first half, because everything what they did against us, it's the first half. Give me the stats on the second half, then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Other than that, just shut up and go to bubblegum. And another thing about slapping the teams. Those kids, like I said it before, those kids have been watching Pornhub way too long about slapping. I don't know what's the slapping. I said on our channel, we're slapping. Guys, we have a really good striker who finished those games when he has a chance. That's the biggest difference we can get. And I agree, Lukaku is better signing for Chelsea than Ronaldo would have been for Chelsea. But that doesn't mean Ronaldo is not good signing for Man United. He scored the same amount of goals. Stop paying attention to the other club. Pay attention on yours.
Anyway. You know, he's gonna score goals.
I agree, and that's what he was there, and he did it. What problem Man United have is a defensive middle. They didn't look at the problem. Now they struggle because of that problem. So let's look at the other game. I still think Chelsea's best forward is Mount, Kai, and Lukaku. There's no player better than them on that position.
Yeah.
There's no better player in that position. Who are you gonna put there? If Pulisic is hurt, I'll say Pulisic is. But if Pulisic is hurt, who are you gonna put
Werner.
Cho?
Trusted middle.
Again, we're going back to the same. No, we're going back to the same position. Do you think defense? He's gonna run against the defense 1-on-1? If it's Werner versus defender? Do you think he's gonna run into his face?
Well, I just think he's more impactful than what Hakim Ziyech is. And to be honest, I don't get why Hakim Ziyech is a.
Is Hakim Ziyech more impactful than Kai Havertz?
No, but Kai has to rest, didn't he? So
exactly. So don't our best players on the pitch right now? It's Rudiger, Christensen, Mendy, two midfielders like Jorginho and Kovacic, Kai and Lukaku. Those are undroppable players as I'm looking at right now.
Right.
Those are players you cannot drop them.
Yeah.
Mount, you can put somebody in the Mount position, but not in the Kai Havertz position.
Oh, no, you
That's
can't.
my opinion.
Do that. You're not allowed to do that, mate.
You're not allowed to.
I'm going to go back to my Bojangles.
It's against Chelsea law. It's a new law at Chelsea. You can't do that. Mount's undroppable. It's on there. Sealed by unicorn blood.
You know, look, Timo Werner last. I think we keep forgetting how. Say he's important. I actually thought he was quite important for us last season. I know people will say, "Oh, but we bought him to score goals and he didn't do that." I get that. I do. I understand that he was bought to score goals, but he did still offer a lot to this system. And if he suits the system and Ziyech and Pulisic can't find a way to suit the system or they're struggling to adapt, I'd rather play Werner, because I know Werner is more adaptive to this system and you'll get something out of it. You don't get anything out of the other two for me at the moment. Maybe Pulisic. I'm not fully sold on Pulisic, but Ziyech, you definitely don't. I'm sorry, he's struggling in this system. This system does not suit him.
Let me ask you a question on Pulisic. When did he play at his best?
Well,
when did he play at his best?
Lockdown.
Okay, who was he playing with?
Giroud,
okay.
Willian.
Giroud and fucking who's it? Willian.
We was playing with Giroud.
Yeah.
A striker that you can play the ball into and play off of him, or you can serve him a ball in the box and he's going to put it away.
Yeah.
So we have the same thing now. So I think Pulisic will have great success playing with Romelu Lukaku because he will make those runs off of him. He will play the ball into him and make it the 1-2 run in behind you, the 1-2 in basketball, give and go. It's the same thing in football. Give and go, give him the ball, you make the run, you get the ball back. Or you make a dummy run that allows Rom to turn and have a shot. Either way, it works. Okay? So he's that type of player you need in that position. Werner does it in a different way. His runs set up that space. Okay? To allow Rom to make the turn and fire. How does Ziyech work with him? How does Mount work with him? They can only do it in one way, and that is putting the ball on him. They don't make the runs off of him. They don't make that's the only way they can have an impact is playing the ball into him and let him do anything because Mount is not an attacker. He doesn't have those instincts to make those runs. Ziyech has never made runs like that. So if you're going to play a Ziyech, you got to play a Werner that gives Rom space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If you're going to play a Mount, you've got to play somebody that's going to make those runs off of him so Mount can play more like an 8. You can't play two players that are going to play a similar game as in Ziyech and Mount. They're a similar player in that the only way they can affect the game is playing the ball into him and hoping he does something.
Yeah.
Big up Frosted Myth that says Lingardinho over CR7. Facts also just because the fact he absolutely packed his team last night, but we moved. Artem also says, big up yourself, Artem. You're in the lottery as well, my G. Saying, I watch every Southampton game and I want Livramento back already. That kid is fearlessly taking people on and creating attacking scenarios for Southampton. Reece is amazing, but he doesn't take people on enough. I think that there's probably just different types of players and different styles because Reece is a lot more bulkier, so I don't really expect him to be as agile as Livramento, for example. Whereas I feel like Livramento is a lot more quicker as a player, which allows him to have that extra burst of pace.
Do you know what Livramento reminds me of?
Really, that sort of player.
A bit of Hakimi. Reminds me a bit like a young Hakimi, like the way he plays the game.
Yeah, but there's also
a lot of resemblances in him.
Livramento makes some brilliant runs forward, but he also doesn't get back fast enough from those runs, which can lead to a counterattack down his side. So you have, and that's what we were seeing yesterday. You would have Reece. We were playing high wing backs at a point because we needed more people in the attacking third. Well, when Rudiger comes forward with the ball from center back, he has the pace to get back. When Aspie does it, he doesn't have the pace to get back anymore.
We saw that yesterday.
And so they were playing the ball down his side because he got too far forward and couldn't make it back. So does anybody else find it kind of weird that the first center back was taken off, the center back that was taken off to Aspie?
No, not at all.
It should have been Mount or something, but I think Aspie was reasonable. It was reasonable.
No, really.
Yeah, I expect that now.
Okay, so we're saying that Christensen, Thiago, and Rudiger is probably our best back three pairing.
No.
What?
No. Come on, you're missing one big thing in what you said.
I feel like when Silva came on,
Aspie. The thing with Aspie for me is he will still play games, but he just won't play the minutes. That's the difference. You will get. I think 60 minutes of Aspie is still very good. I think still very, very good. I think other than that, then you switch him, and then you switch it to Christensen and right in the back, Thiago Silva in the middle. I would still play Aspie, Christensen, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger.
So you're telling me
that would be in my
guarantee a wasted substitution each game.
Yeah, I don't want to waste a sub on a center back if we don't have to.
We're always going to do that, though.
Every game, the sub off the centre
Not
back
every
at 60 minutes.
Well,
most games, and not just that, you'll rotate anyway. So Aspie won't play every game at right centre back.
I know, but like that's why he doesn't need to be starting every game like
Well,
that.
see, I think he's better suited right now as a wing back because he can play him higher up the pitch and he doesn't have to worry about getting back because he has the right center back to cover for him. So I think right now, actually, in the way we're playing with the 3-4-3, Aspie is better suited for the right wing back position because he doesn't have to track back as fast. He has cover behind him. If he's a right center back and gets too far forward, then the center back is going to have to slide over, and that opens up more space in the center. So I think that's some of the things we saw yesterday.
Richardson just gives us pace there. That's what it is, isn't it? When you think about it overall, what is it? Defensively, is he better than Aspie? Like,
there's a debate.
Pace. No, but
there is a very strong debate to be had.
What I'm trying to get to is when you play Christensen there for his recovery pace. So if we're up against someone that's pretty quick on that side, you put him in there. But Aspie as a defender,
he's better in the air than Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta is horrible in the air.
That's also true. But I say one-on-one defending,
Azpilicueta jumps with his back.
That's what he would do.
That's been one of his best aspects of his game for the last 7-8 years.
Yeah, one-on-one defending.
He's the best one-on-one defender in the world, in my opinion, let alone the Premier League. And he still has aspect in his game, but I mean, Christensen's good at 1v1s. So's Rudiger. So's Thiago Silva. Like we're not deep in the amount of quality that we have throughout our centre backs. I'm not really worried about any of our centre backs 1v1, especially even Kurt Zouma. Like he was amazing at recovery tackles, so you could judge him on a 1v1 as well. Even if he gets beat, he's likely to come back and win the ball regardless. So if we're talking about 1v1 defending, I back all of them, to be honest.
Right. My point being is, and I've seen it in the comments, yes, wing backs are supposed to be fast. But in our formation, you can play Aspie as a wing back because going forward, he is very, very good. That's very underrated going forward. He had an assist last night. You see him get in the box sometimes. He is very, very good going forward. So
2 assists in 2 games.
Who? Aspie is good for going forward?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've seen it all.
No, but the thing is,
but the position where he crossed the ball.
You just said
I know. How many times did he actually cross it? What I'm trying to say is Aspie is not good on crossing only from that particular space. He's not good, and he's not going to run against the other fullback. He's going to cross it when he has a chance. James is better as a fullback because he can take on a defender and then cross it from the wider position.
But we're talking about having him back up James, not as the starter there.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the start. I was like, no.
I see him better as right now as a wing back because he doesn't have the recovery pace to get back. And if he's too far forward as a right center back, who gets to recover? Who has to cover for him?
My best 3 is if we go on just for one game, that's gonna be Silva, Rudiger, and Aspie just for one game. But if we're talking about the whole season, it will be Rudiger, Christensen, and Aspie. Those are three back because I don't think Thiago Silva can sustain the whole season.
I don't even think it's close. I think Rudiger, Silva, Christensen is our best back 3. And I'm not even sure it's close. Aspie is a really great one-on-one defender, like you guys have been saying, but we don't really ask those 3 to do a lot of one-on-one defending. It happens occasionally if we're getting countered or something, but I think all 3 of those guys have amazing positional awareness when they're playing center back, which I think sometimes Aspie lacks that a bit. I think a couple times last night he found himself too far forward and he found himself too close to the middle of the pitch, and guys were getting in behind him, causing Reece James to have to sprint back or get in between the space.
Do you know why you have that opinion? Because you see mistakes from Slolonzo and Rudiger have to cover for him.
Well, no, I agree.
Christensen doesn't have as many recovery and stuff because there's not many mistakes from the right wing when people attacking us. That's why you see a Rudiger in a better. It's like saying, like I remember somebody said, De Gea was the best goalkeeper in the world right now. at a point when Man United had such a bad defense that people can score from any positions. And that's why he was so high on saves, because they had 30 shots against them during the game. Same thing, Rudiger looks good because we have Slonzo on the left. So Rudiger have to do his job.
Before we move on, we gotta read out the super chat from Frosted Myth. Big up Rudy taking the ball from your own goal and clear it in opposition box. Zuma 2.0. At least Rudiger kept it in the stadium.
Yeah.
You know, Zuma put it in the stands.
Yeah.
Look, Rudiger, that ball was closer than you thought it was from going in. He was, look, you needed something to go on, and he looked more effective than Ziyech or Mount did the whole game with that one run.
Yeah, he just didn't wrap his foot around it.
In a bit, man.
Big up Visual.
But again, you have to look at how we want to play, and everybody's like, we need to change to a back four. A back four would have made no difference last night, none at all, because you would have had that extra midfielder on. But who do you bring? It doesn't make a big difference because it's about the roles and the players that play those roles. And it was wrong last night because Ziyech and Mount can't play together. I don't think Ziyech and Havertz can play together. If you're going to play Ziyech, you need somebody to stretch the field, and Havertz is not the stretch the field guy because that's the only way.
Have we seen Ziyech and Mount? Ziyech and Havertz yet? Have we seen it yet?
Yeah.
Ziyech and Havertz. Yeah, we
saw it in Aston Villa, didn't we?
No.
I forgot.
I think it was Aston Villa. We saw Ziyech and Havertz.
Yeah, Havertz play.
Yeah, that's correct. Havertz was playing. Because remember, we were going how tired he looked. So Havertz did play.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were going, he's got to not play the next game.
It's just because you need that player to stretch the field, and Havertz, for all his...
In preseason? Did they play together in preseason?
Yeah, I guess in the Super Cup.
They played the Villa match.
Yeah. They played the Villa match, and it wasn't necessarily great.
Oh, they played the Arsenal, didn't they?
Yeah, but also Havertz wasn't really at his best in that game either. Big up Frosted Myth as well, saying big up Rudy taking the ball from his own goal and clearing it in the opposition box.
We read that
Number
already.
2.0. Oh no, I just had that left in. I hadn't read that. Unless you guys already done it while I was gone.
I did.
Big up. Oh yeah, if you had done it, then fair play. Go AM saying, look, I saw a lot of passion in the other games. Think a young boys loan might be better for Banner Boy. Man saying we're moving to now. I can't.
Man call him Mason Milner, and then
has Mason Mount stock really dropped that low?
Yes.
Could you imagine? Really? Could you imagine the banter if Mason Mount did go to Young Boys on loan? That mean Johnny would be following Young Boys.
The downgrade for Mason Mount if he had to go on loan as well. That would be hella peak.
No, you did. I know you moved right past it.
But the bar can't be set down this low. I agree. It's one game.
What you meant? Oh, for fuck's sake. No, I got that really late. You're wrong for that, man.
Oh my god, Goyim, you're good.
The thing is, though, you do this all the time. You get it late. I've got to go. I'm gonna love you to leave you because you're going to have fun tonight in this stream. So big up, everyone. Have a good day. All
right, big
See
up.
you later.
Big up.
I think Mount mentally drained. I think Mount mentally drained a little bit.
But from what, like the Euros?
He's coming off a game off. He had a whole game.
I think this thinking of mentally doesn't really, despite the fact that he would have had a bad game. I think the only one that affected mentally was Chilwell because Tuchel came out and said it. But I don't think we can assume someone's physical or mental state from just looking from a TV screen.
Sometimes you're just mentally exhausted.
Yeah, but I don't get how you could tell mentally.
I don't know. When you will hit 40, you will.
Because sometimes he has his games where he just falls off. Yes, but you can't dictate that from looking behind a screen or looking at some. I think it's just.
You don't gotta hit 40 for that.
What also makes me not buy it is the fact
we won't discuss age.
Playing 40 games like he playing back to back in Spain and Barcelona, and he's 18.
Oh, Pedri?
Yeah, Pedri. And he's still got, I think, and also championship players.
Game after game, not
Championship
wanting to
players play 40 games a season. They play 40 games a season, and they're still going out. They're still running.
He just had a rest as well. Like I think Andrew said earlier, it's not really it's not necessarily so much a mount thing. It's more like this the formation that we play. It just does not suit like his strong parts of his game. Like the things that we love from him that he does playing as a left forward. It doesn't benefit his game.
It's not left forward.
No. It's at this point we're a year, nearly a year into Tuchel playing this system. If a player hasn't picked it up, that's on them. If you don't know how to play between the lines as a 10, supposedly, that's on you. Like,
I don't disagree.
Especially with the level of coach we had. If we had Ollie in charge, I'd think differently. We've got one of the best coaches in the world in charge. You cannot tell me that this guy doesn't know how to play in between the lines as a 10. And if he's not a 10, why is he playing there?
Right. That's fair.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But then wouldn't you really have questions about?
So he doesn't know how to play there based on Zenit. That's what we're basing this on.
Yes.
Even though he scored the most goals under Tuchel since Tuchel has come in.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I mean, of course you don't, but I'm giving you stats.
Cool. I'm looking at what I saw last night.
I know you're basing it off one game. You're basing it off Zenit
between the lines, and
yes,
most of the teams we're going to come up
It's
against,
not just Zenit,
most
bro.
of the teams we're going to come up against
Daniel, come on, man.
are going to play defensive football, sit 2 banks of 4 or a bank of 5 and a bank of 4, and are going to say break us down. If you can't play in between the lines or drag players out of position, which he didn't, apart from one turn, then you're not useful in these sorts of games.
Of course he didn't. Doesn't mean he can't. He had a bad game. And that's the problem. This is why Johnny goes.
You say bad game, he was the worst
This is why
guy.
Johnny. No, he wasn't. This is
Yes,
why
he was.
Johnny goes overboard. Is when he does have a bad game, instead of him being able to acknowledge, oh yeah, he had a bad game, he should do better the next game. We have people like this saying he needs to be dropped. He's terrible at this. He doesn't know how to play this
We never
system
said
as a
that.
10. Who's saying we? You're not hearing what Scott just said right now.
I agree with
Literally.
what Scott said.
Yeah.
He's not.
Exactly.
He's
So
not.
you are
He's
saying
not.
that.
He's an 8. He's an 8 playing
There we go.
as a 10 or an inside forward, however you want to term it.
We don't play with 8s. We
Then he
play with
shouldn't
10s.
Well, he needs to adapt his game.
Exactly.
So the
Either he
manager
doesn't
plays
play
him
or
as a
he
10.
adapts his game.
And that's what I'm saying. But he plays a 10 as an 8.
Yes, because that's what the manager wants from him.
No.
How do you know that? Why doesn't he drop him? What affinity does Tuchel have to mount that he doesn't have
He
to
did
any
drop
other
him.
player?
So
No, he
why
didn't.
doesn't
He
he
rested him.
Alonso?
Oh, okay. What's
No,
a
he
rest
rested
and
him.
drop? I mean,
All right,
Hang
if he
on,
drops
so-
him, that means he doesn't start next game, right? Because he had a terrible game this game.
Your argument is that because he keeps playing him and doesn't drop him, that we can't be right about this. So who's better, Alonso or Chilwell?
Alonso at the moment.
What are you talking about? Chilwell is
Your
better.
point
Chilwell
is,
has
because he
personal.
doesn't
Chilwell
drop
has
him.
personal problems, like Tuchel said. That's why he hasn't been playing. What are you talking
Yeah, if you
about?
listen, it's fatigue or it's feeling down about the fact of not starting in the Euros. But
Yeah,
the
he
fact
said he
is,
had personal
Alonso's
issues,
still
and that's why
playing
he
despite
hasn't
having a
started.
poor performance against Villa, and he'll probably play after having a poor performance today. At that point, where does this argument end?
But are you saying to drop
I'm
Mount?
pretty
Are
sure
you
his
saying to drop
other
Mount? I think
left
he should
back.
be dropped.
Against teams where you need to be creative, like against teams like Spurs, he shouldn't play.
Yeah, because look, Nuno's going to sit back.
Play him.
All right,
City,
fair
I'd
enough.
probably
Fair
play
enough.
him.
Who plays then? Who plays then? Tell me. Who you
Hudson
play
Odoi or
against Spurs.
Pulisic, depending on who's fit.
None of them. Pulisic would not be ready 100% on
Hudson
Hudson Odoi.
Well, hold on.
Hey,
I was
we
told
got
yesterday
Showway
that
at White Hart Lane. Let's go. The remontada.
I was told I was
Ow.
told last night that Pulisic might be fit for the Tottenham game.
One of those two plays.
But he comes back
Someone
still. I think
direct.
tomorrow.
Somebody
He's there.
direct. Either or.
Exactly.
Because that's
Someone
exactly
direct
what we
who's going
lack.
to give that back line something to worry about, because that's how Palace won.
Yep. You got to have somebody that's going. It's either that or you got to play Werner to make the runs to open up the space. You just can't out. And I got to see Havertz. For me, Havertz is
Daniel, you
better
do
in that
know-
position than Mason or Ziyech.
I think
care what
Havertz
anybody
and
says.
Lukaku and whoever
Daniel,
on the left.
you do realize yesterday was screaming for Werner's game. You do realize that, don't you?
No.
Yeah, listen, I have nothing to say about Werner. He's not going to start any games. Tuchel doesn't like him. Let's move on.
But again, how do you know that Tuchel doesn't like him?
I've given you my reasons before we can move on. It's not that big a deal.
This is the 6th time I've said it. I agree. No, but I agree. I agree with the point that you said we should definitely not be dropping him out. He's definitely one of our best players in the attacking line. But I'm just saying, and I'm going to disagree with you because I don't think that was Werner's game. I think Zenit, and I think what Alex said that they're playing 9 people behind the ball. He's based to make runs from that high line. I don't think he could have done that with Zenit.
9-5.
Yeah, you know,
it was not, but anyway, you get the point. Burnley. But I think he still would have probably done better than Mount or what Ziyech were providing. But why, we couldn't tell.
Yeah,
that's why I swear. Sometimes I'm gonna go
maybe
watch a game. I'm gonna have a piece of paper for the people like with the exact minute. Go to that minute and tell me what formation is it. Go to that minute and tell me what formation is it. If they defend with 5 people, that doesn't mean the whole team was always defending with 5 people. It's a defensive when they have the ball. It's offensive when we have the ball. So it's spreading. You're not playing 9 people behind the goal. Did we always
play 9 people in the box? When they say every time they cross in those 67 players in the box.
Sometimes you drive me nuts.
You can watch. You can go back and watch it. Every time they cross, never went in.
I don't need to go back to watch.
There was 4 to 5 people in the penalty box, and then there was always 2 people about to run in every single time. Yes, there's probably at the start there was an occasion where it wasn't as compacted, but over time when we kept getting those crosses in that never went in, they had 6 or 7 players in. And I'm saying Werner would not start there because we would just cross an inshallah to who? To Lukaku. But what would Werner do? He would just sit behind him and just wait for the ball. I don't think that was his game.
I'm not talking about the Werner. Just forget.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I'm saying who the players were in there though. I'm saying that it just wouldn't have been Werner's point.
I'm not even talking about our players. I'm talking about you saying they had 9 people behind the defending. They did not have 9 people.
That was an over-exaggeration. You know that. But it was about 6. You could see. You go watch it. It was 6, 7. A lot of players were in
8, 9, 10, 11, 24. Just throw the number in there then.
It was everyone. Zenit were keeping everyone bar Azmoun and then
at
Juba.
Arm reach. This is the proper defensive team. When you play, it's 11 versus 11. So you defending with your player and arm's reach. That's it. And all they did is, did Chelsea had the possession of the ball so much that we always stayed only in their half? Did we did that for 90 minutes? Stayed in their half?
69 possession at the end of the day. That's what I can tell you there.
At 60-40 possession. That's it. Let's move on. Zenit is done.
No.
So.
Oh no, this is it. I gotta read this.
Yeah, man. Go
Big up
ahead.
saying Mason Milner's best quality is his price tag. Right now at the very least, but we'll see at the end of the season.
That's
it is really sticky for Mason now. His stocks are in the mud right now. Robert Warren says Pulisic has 1 good game in every 10. Bench player. I would say it does take a while after injury to get back to his best form, but 1 good game in 10, I wouldn't say that. Not necessarily. I don't think he's had the game.
He actually gave us a Championship League spot on his own.
Just wanted to respond to that. So what were you saying, bro?
No, I got to read this tweet out. Someone said Rashford was injured, so Lingard stepped up to feed the young boys.
Oh, for fuck's sake. United slander is the best. Keep it rolling because those salty fuckers deserve it. These all been getting way too big.
Nah, Arsenal. I always like how Arsenal whines. That's the best. AFC
They're in the mud already.
That's the best.
It's like I'm used to it now, though. They lose every day.
Bruv, this Mount is getting slandered today, bro.
Rightfully so, though.
Mount gets slandered every day.
Look, I get it, but they're ripping into this guy.
What does it matter?
Slander, fair enough, isn't needed, but this criticism is warranted, and it comes from people like Johnny and others who literally he can't do any wrong.
Johnny gave him a 7 out of 10 yesterday.
Yeah, Jesus.
Bro, there's a very good argument to be made. He was the worst player on the pitch yesterday.
He did.
I gave him 4.
Alright,
He's
whatever,
a 2. He's a 2.
Whatever.
No, you and Johnny on the opposite end. He's extreme on one end, you're extreme on the other.
I don't get how these Man U fans love bringing up 4-0 at Old Trafford. We beat them 4-0 at Stamford Bridge too. So y'all need to stop with that.
That game was long, man. Like fucking Dan James was still at Man United. Was that deep? Fucking Barkley was still getting regular starts. Like nobody cares now.
How was Mason rusty? He just played He just sat out one game out of the whole season, basically. How is he rusty?
He just played most of the international break too, so he did have game time. There's no excuse, guys. Like, he had a bad game. You
It's
can't
exactly,
say
it's just a
nothing.
bad game.
Criticize
We
me,
move.
yeah,
Accept
We
it and
move.
we move on.
Scott is basically Scott is not trying to slate Mason Mount, but he's trying to criticize Mason Mount.
I don't think anyone here is slating Mason Mount.
No one.
Slating's coming from the comment section. It's not on
Except Goey. Goey just taking a piss.
He's banned.
here.
He's banned.
Goey
He's even
fires
banned.
shots at everybody. It's just his gimmick.
He had a drop of form. He had a drop of form when Lampard was in charge too for a couple of games, and he came back stronger. So I'm not giving up on Mount. And
by the way, you know, everyone, he's allowed a drop of form as well.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's
not. He needs to be
know what Andrew's like on Johnny. Come on.
No, but seriously, he is allowed a drop of form. You know that. And he is allowed to be criticised by everyone else. But it's just we don't. It's you know what? There's no middle ground with him, is there? There's no middle ground. There's no.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. It's like.
I try to find it. I came on. I said he had a horrible game. He was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't speak like Johnny does and says, "Oh yeah, he was an 8 out of 10." He wasn't an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean if you have a horrible game in one game, he can't play the position now. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's the thing. It's like can he play there? We've seen bits and
pieces. But I'm not going to argue about him starting the next game because I know he's going to start the next game.
He just has, you know what, Daniel? He has to now work on something different. We've got the Lukaku up there now. It's a different problem for him. Not problem. It's a different thing for him now. He didn't have that last season. Now he's got to fine tune his game to work with Lukaku. That's what he's got to do, and that means more training, whatever. But there's no middle ground. It's like I don't know why in this community we say Mount. If we say Mount 3 times, the boogeyman will appear, or something like that. The Candyman will appear. We can criticize him. We should have the same energy for all our players on criticism and everything like that. And
he's a young guy. He's a young guy. He's gonna look. He's gonna read all the social media, and he's gonna improve. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have one of the good games on Sunday.
He's already improved from 2 years ago. We've seen the improvement in his game. He's far different player than he was 2 years ago. He just now, which I keep saying, he will have a longer career than most of the age group around him because he will improve his game.
Exactly.
And he's only 22.
Improve his game. But we have still got to. We can still go. Do you know what? Mason Mount didn't play well today, and not feel like we're kicking a puppy down the street or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just say it. He didn't have a good game. And that's it. We can analyze his game. It wasn't good yesterday. And also, can we not go? Oh, when someone goes, Mason Mount is dropped. Oh yeah, but Ziyech was just as bad. No, let's focus on the players. Let's focus on the individual players, and not like who else was rubbish just to prop him up a bit. Ziyech was rubbish as well. We look at Ziyech individually as we do Mount individually. Just leave it like that. That's what makes it a lengthy debate then, because we go, oh yeah, but this player's better than this player. Let's just move on.
And that's true. Each player has their own criticism too. Because if you look at Ziyech, he's 28 now, and it's like if he's not doing it this season, that we're gonna look to move him on. Like when we go at Mount, there's way more hope for Mount because he's only 22, and we're just pointing out the things we want him to improve on.
Exactly, and he knows that. He will know that. There'll be no bigger critic today than Mason Mount of his own performance. There's no bigger critic. Trust me. He will know he's played rubbish yesterday or didn't play well.
Tuchel will let him know.
Exactly.
Look on his face when he walked in.
Exactly. Tuchel will let him know. The thing is as well, it's like we have to. If it's like this, how far do we then take the comment of we trust this manager this much? If he keeps playing him, he obviously feels he's very important to this system, or this team, or whatever. But that's on him to train Mount, and Mount to take the feedback, take the training, and try and improve his own game. If he doesn't, then we've already seen Tuchel might just start leaving him out if he doesn't improve, and that might happen.
So in 54 games last year he played in, he had 18 goal assists in 54 games.
Okay.
He's played in 5 games this year and has 1 assist.
Take care.
So,
see you, mate.
We're saying that that's fine from a central midfielder. It's not fine from an attacking player.
That's the thing. I agree. The critique of him is the final third. It is the final third.
The
It's
final
decision making.
the end product, though.
End product, exactly. End product. At set pieces, I think he's very good.
No.
He could get better and stuff like that. But
On free kicks, yes. Corner balls, no. Free kicks, yeah. Corners,
it's
he
a
should
mix.
be on
He needs to work on that. But when it's open play,
Nah, he doesn't take them anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't take them. You're right.
RJ,
yeah, you're
He's
right.
off
Yeah,
he stopped taking them.
So probably Tuchel's already worked out. He's not good enough on the
Genuinely
corners.
didn't know that.
There we go. All right, but in open play, he needs, when it's a tight game like it was yesterday, his decision making needs to be better. We all know that, and that's what he needs to do.
I've always said this about Mason Mount. It isn't a willingness not to try something. At times, it's execution, right? And even with the game that he had, you know, I mean, and some people don't really care about it, but he had an 83% passing rate, right?
Yeah.
Usually, when you have a player have that kind of game, they're at 76%, 77%. They're losing the ball in the worst places.
Yeah.
He loses the ball up there where he shouldn't. Those crisp passes he should get better at, and I think he will. Some people think he won't get better at it. He's never going to get better at it. Cool, that's okay. I've seen him do it inconsistently, and I've always said that. But Tuchel has him in the team because 99% of the time, that 85%, 86% passing range is always going to be there. That work rate is always going to be there. The progression of the ball is always going to be there, right? And winning the ball in the opposition half is always going to be there. So if he has inconsistency from all his other young players, which he has, we can't act like any of the young players in our team plays consistently the same way every game. They don't.
No.
Okay,
So if he's getting that, but he's getting the consistency in terms of the work rate, the passing, right, and the connection with the team from Mount, he's always going to play him in his most important games.
So
that's why he's playing him. And if he feels like he's not doing that enough, for example, in the last game, he could have taken either Mount or Ziyech off, either one of them, because they were both terrible first half. The reason he kept Mount on more and brought Havertz on with Mount, and it looked fluid with that.
Because Mount and Havertz does link up really well, Daniel.
And Mount understands the spaces Havertz is going to go into and doesn't go into them.
That's right.
Part of it is the chemistry. Part of it is he was just terrible, and I can admit that. But I do think he's going to get better.
Nobody's saying he's not.
That, though.
Nobody's saying he's not. We're saying he's playing out of position.
You need to blame Tuchel then.
That's what, like, if
we don't play with eights, the only way he's going to play on this team is to play.
Yeah, no.
So why,
this
man?
was a
That
topic
coach.
I wanted to bring up though, because we're saying like Ziyech has had these bad performances, Mount has had these bad performances, Cho has had these bad performances, but then we're saying the system doesn't really suit wingers. Then are we saying the system just doesn't suit a lot of our attackers like that? Because then if that's the case, then shouldn't more
I think
blame
it depends on the
be
game we're playing. I think it depends on the game we're playing, because like I said, against low blocks where you've got no space, that's when the system suits a Havertz, a Cho, a Pulisic, a player that can either drag players out of position or can work in the little spaces. A game like a City or a Liverpool where you've got a lot more space, that suits a Mount or a Ziyech, where they've got more time on the ball, or they can drive with the ball, or they have like a lot more space to pick up the ball. Where like it depends on the team you're playing. That's why for me, when I said Mount, it's not that Mount shouldn't play. I don't think he should play against teams that low block, because he's not going to have the time and space on the ball to do the things he wants to do. And
Or
then you
play
see
him deeper.
yesterday, where he lost the ball 21 times.
Or
like
play
that
him
comes because
deeper.
he doesn't have time on the ball.
Because the guy has a shot. The guy has a shot from outside the box better than some of those attacking players.
Let Lewis do the super chats.
Oh yeah, no, I was going to let you guys finish the discussion. Big up Switz Daniel saying every fan has their favourites, and rightly so. However, fans should say how it is, no matter who it is. Sentiment is infesting our fan base.
Agendas are killing us.
Sentiment and player agenda is a very strong part of this fan base. I also hold my hand up for being utterly shameless when it comes to it as well. But at the very least, for me, I will criticize the players that I favoritize when they play poorly as well. It's just
Christensen hasn't. So you don't.
Yeah, the only game that we've had is the Man City away game last season. I still said he got spun by Gabriel Jesus the whole first half and had to come off. It is what it is. These L's happen. Still a class player, but I think if you have these sentiments, you still need to be able to criticize them, and you still need to be able to say whether they've had a bad game or not. And I think if you don't do that, that's where I think the problem comes through, and that's where other players start to receive a lot more criticism too. Like Jesters, you talk about the Cho stands, for example. You think that a problem with them is that they can't really admit to whenever Cho has a mistake or a bad game, which is why the slander towards him gets a lot higher as a result of it. If you can admit when your players play badly, especially even if they're your favourites, then I think a lot less criticism goes their way. But if all you do is just overly hype them, then they're going to get criticised the same energy, which is why our fan base starts to look toxic as a result. But that's just the way we are as a fan base, and that isn't changing, so we move.
I don't have a favorite player.
Oh,
keep it that way. Keep it that way.
That's why when I buy jersey, I never have a jersey. The only time I had the John Terry's jersey name on it, first of all, because my wife put it on it as a present. Second of all, there was after his miss in the final in 2008, in Championship League final, and I just want that slander towards me so I can smack somebody's heads after that happened. That's the only reason.
Look,
I had John Terry. Great with the match going fans, bruv. They'd love you. They put you front and center in the front line, man.
I'm going to explain this one more time, my stance on Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's nothing against him. It's against those people who think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Look, I don't want to hear about deserve or given ever again. Mm-hmm. Nobody deserves anything or should be given anything. You earn it or you take it. That's all I want to hear. And thus far, he has not earned it or taken it.
Yeah.
Big up Reggie Fort. Sorry, I missed your super chat. Safe for who told me that I missed it. JC Pinch. Safe for letting me know about that. Relax, guys. Mason Mount is a false 8. Word to Klasra. Big up Klasra in the cup, man. Absolute icon in his own right. Some of the wildest takes I've ever heard. But big up yourself. Tom Manchi also said, no one in the attacking midfield is playing well. Havertz is still recovering from the flu, so I'll allow him for that. Ziyech, it might be a case of sharpness, but I think with sharpness, you have to persist with playing him, and I don't want him to continue playing in this sort of form either. So it's a bit of a catch-22 for him. Mason Mount, I think there are questions about his final ball, and it has come up in the Liverpool game as well. So that does need to improve from him, but off the ball, as much as everyone hates to hear it, he is still performing on that aspect, and it's the same thing with Ziyech.
The issue,
we haven't seen him play in the middle. Werner has barely played.
But the big issue, the big great issue is Lukaku.
But the manager cares though.
You have a stationary forward in the center. Yeah, comes wide every now and again, drops a little bit deep now and again. But that's
not true.
It's now. What do you mean?
He's not always stationary. I mean, he likes.
I said now and again he comes wide or he drops deep, but mainly he does stay central. But that's it as well. It's working with him as well. Now you've got an actual person up there who can finish chances or will help you score possibly. It's working out with him, and at the moment you can't. You have to find a way. He doesn't have to find a way to work with you. You have to find a way to work with him. Yeah. And he's scoring the goals.
And that's why I think, that's why I think Pulisic is going to work really well with him, because he's shown in the past as probably the only person on the team that showed they can play with a hold up striker and play off of him. We've actually have game footage of him doing it. So that's my thing. Is I think he'll be brilliant with Lukaku. I think that if they get the same chemistry as Giroud, it's going to be hard for other people to take his spot, because he'll be banging in goals and assists. Whether I know some people will hate it because they hate him, but it's going to be true.
Or they hate.
We can't just take a purple patch with Giroud. Like, come on, that can be the basis of he can play with this type of striker.
Yes, Daniel.
We got to stop that.
Well, you're right. He has to earn it. When he's given the
chance.
But
the thing is, we have to see it, and we haven't seen it yet.
Exactly. He has to
we are going to see it. He has to be fit first. That's another problem that he has.
He has to be fit as well. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
The thing is, for me, with the Callum thing is, for me, and I realised this after hearing United fans talk about Van der Beek, is he needs it. We're seeing him in an odd game. We don't actually know how good he is. Like, we can speculate here and there that he's not good enough right now. He doesn't work here. He doesn't work there. But we're not seeing him in a consistent run of games where playing for 5 games, 6 games. if he performs badly in all those games, right, cool. Right now he's not ready. You have a definitive answer. But right now we're just speculating based on 60 minutes here, 70 minutes there, 30 minutes here. Like we're just basing it off of bits and pieces that we're seeing, and we can't get a proper read on how actually good he is and how much he works with Lukaku, how much he works in the system. It's the same with Van der Beek at United. They can't work out how good he is because he doesn't get any game time.
What does our results look like in those 6 games that he's trying?
That's the problem. It's a results game, isn't it, Daniel? It's a results game, and we're Chelsea, and our history. If we have a certain number of bad results, bye Mr. Manager, bye insert manager here. That always happens. So Tuchel knows that. So he can't. The thing is, Tuchel. We know Tuchel's great. He's been great. Okay, how many chances can he take? Because I think he can only take maybe 1 chance on a player every game, not take like maybe 2 or something like that. And I think that maybe he is struggling to find, to find the right front three at the moment with Lukaku. And also he doesn't have all the options.
But then do you think it's a case of we should be regularly rotating to figure out our best 3, or should we just stick to a 3 and then just persist?
I think it's going to take time.
Yeah,
I think it's going to just take time, regardless of who the 3 are. It's going to take time for them to figure it out with
Chemistry.
Lukaku. So he's going to keep the best system to make sure teams aren't scoring during that time. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah,
protect the lead. He can always, knowing he has a striker like Lukaku, he knows he can always get a goal. Because that's a world class striker there.
It's clinical.
He doesn't. I mean, the goal he scored from wasn't a big chance.
No,
not even close.
What do you mean it wasn't a big chance? It was a ball put right on his head.
No, it wasn't put right on his head.
No. I think what it means is like, he made.
It wasn't a clear-cut one-on-one chance. He had a defender on him.
Yeah, it wasn't like he done great work.
See, that's where
and
you
it wasn't registered. And it wasn't registered as a big chance.
I don't care. It was it was registered as an assist. It's more important than a big chance.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was still registered as a big chance created.
To the right area for Lukaku to peel off his defender and put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah,
to say that it wasn't played perfectly is wrong. It was the right pass in the right area for Lukaku to put that ball away.
It's not a clear chance, though.
You're missing what I'm saying.
For me,
he's a world-class striker, so a chance like that, you expect him to get to it.
And what are you talking about then? You think they're playing that if Timo Werner is there?
I think he's talking about the way the ball.
Obviously, he's going to protect his lead because he knows that regardless of how bad his attack is, all he needs is one of those chances to his world-class striker, and he's going to score, and he wins the match. Right. So he's going to take that chance, and that's what I'm saying. So whatever system is protecting his lead, he goes with that first before figuring out, let me keep rotating my 3 forwards to figure out the best attacking.
I think he knows what the best attacking is.
He's not doing that.
They're just not available right now.
I don't.
You think he didn't play? He didn't play Pulisic 1 game during the whole preseason. Only played him in that game because he got injured. What are we talking about here? His best? No, that's not his.
Excuse me. He was on vacation. And
no, he wasn't. Tuchel? He was there. He was at preseason the entire time.
All I can tell you is he knows who is best.
Didn't play a single game.
That's fine. Who cares about preseason?
Logic.
Ross Barkley
Why would he not play his best? Why would not play his number 1 guy during the preseason?
Preseason. Was Lukaku there? In preseason?
No, because we hadn't signed him.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have him.
So what I'm saying is he knows who his best attackers are with Lukaku.
What the hell? Okay.
I'll disagree with you, Jesper.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he can know that.
I don't think he knows.
He can't know that now.
No.
Then you underestimate our manager.
Training isn't the same as games, so he might have seen in training that they work well together, but in terms of games,
no. Tuchel had Pulisic and Bournemouth.
Yeah, they didn't have a central striker in Dortmund. Did
they had.
Yeah, but he knows Pulisic's intent, and he allowed him to leave.
I don't think he was coaching when he left.
Yeah, he was
a year after.
When did he go to PSG? Was it 17 or 18?
I'll have a little look.
He's the one who gave him a first chance at Bournemouth. Look it up.
No, I don't. No, I'm not doubting that.
Bournemouth.
I can't remember that far back on who was
Dortmund.
coaching.
Yeah,
The reason, the reason
he wasn't in
Pulisic-
charge when Sancho was there. Sancho came in the year after he left.
I don't have a
It was-
Pulisic agenda, so that's
Eddie
okay.
Howe at
You can
Dortmund.
keep
Oh,
going.
you do, Jester. Just admit it.
How do I have an agenda when I said if he
I'm
doesn't
just
play
messing
better
with
this
you.
year,
I'm
we should
just
sell
messing
him?
with you. I just want to see that vein popping as soon as.
You can keep being a troll all you want to. The fact is, I don't have an agenda. I'm telling you that Pulisic suits this system better than any other forward we have on the team because he knows how to play off a central striker. And Kai Havertz is the other one I've seen play off a central striker.
Let me ask you. Hold on a second.
He never
Let me
played.
ask you,
He's never
Jester,
played.
let me ask you a question.
Kai never played with a central striker.
And we did not have Tammy Abraham in the Chelsea before, and we didn't have what's his name? Oh my God, Arsenal's forward, Giroud. So how did we manage a year and a half without central striker then? Didn't we have a central striker for a year and a half before?
Apart from Costa.
Of course we did. No, we did.
We did. We always did. We always had a striker.
I'm sorry. I'm not taking this purple patch as a definite. Oh, he knows how to play with a central striker, so he's number one.
No. I'm not taking that at all either.
I'm not doing
never
that.
played with a striker.
At least you have film on it. You don't have you just have speculation on the rest of the players. You actually have film to say that this person knows how to play with it. But let's discount the actual film, actual doing it. Let's just speculate because speculation is always better than having evidence in front of you.
Yeah, he did it for 7 games. Like,
name another player that's done it more than 7 games with a central striker, please. You can't.
Name other players who've played with a central striker. Werner came into the team.
My point exactly.
I think we don't know yet. We have to wait.
So what? We're gonna go for
lost.
I'm really confused about the whole conversation. The reason why we pick Pulisic is because he can run directly against the defender, like nobody else will do on the thing. That doesn't mean that he plays better with the center forward. That just means that he's better against one-on-one dribbler. That's all it is.
I said that we have tape of him playing with a central striker, and that's when he was at his best. True or false?
No, but there's different.
I don't know. I haven't watched the tape. What tape are you talking about?
The 7 games.
Project
7
Restart.
games after Project Restart.
Giroud and Lukaku are not similar. Apart from the fact they hold the ball up, they're not similar in any way. The only player that Pulisic has maybe played with that is similar in terms of attributes to Lukaku, and I don't think they ever played together on international break, is DK. He's the only player.
Nah, well, they also had.
Yeah, Giroud is nothing like Lukaku. I don't know where you got that from.
At Dortmund, there was Aubameyang, who's not the same type of striker. And then with us, he's had Werner and he's had Tammy, who's not the same, and he's had Giroud, who apart from the hold-up player is not the same. So he's never played.
I understand that, but who is the most similar to Lukaku of the strikers we've had?
Drogba
in the hold-up player.
Costa actually.
Costa actually, yeah.
Okay, that this team is played with.
Then Lukaku.
We're finding minor similarities of what he's played with previously to say he should deserve because we've seen tape.
I didn't say he should deserve. I said that they will get the best out of each other because of the way they play together, the link-up play, the 1-2s they can play, and the type of player Pulisic is and the type of player Lukaku is. That's it.
Well, let's see it. If we see it, then he deserves to start.
Yo, Tammy's more similar to Lukaku, though.
Big up Frosted Myth saying Theo Walcott rated over Callum Hudson-Odoi. Oh boy, not here for
career.
Pick up yourself anyway. Switz Daniel also says to the panel, who is our best 3 when fully fit? If we're talking about in terms of not just ability, in terms of who suits the most. Yeah, offensively.
Offensively.
It depends on who you play.
Havertz and Werner and
Lukaku. Are we talking about in general?
It's purely Lukaku and Cho.
I know different games means different players to suit the team that we're playing. I'd go Romelu Lukaku, obviously. Do we go for? We haven't seen Timo Werner and Lukaku together properly.
No, we haven't.
So I can't really give my full judgment until I see him play a full 90 together. I probably would have to go Havertz and Mount or Pulisic, because like right now I see why people are saying Pulisic, but I also don't want to be reactionary and just say it based off the last game that he's had. It'd be Mount or Pulisic. I'm not
For
too
me,
sure.
It depends who we're playing against. Like the other guy said, like why are we like? You can't generalize the whole season based on one game.
We're answering a question that was put forth to us.
But the question was not right.
Well, I'm sorry. but he paid money to ask the question. Our job is to answer it.
Be like, I put another donation with a better question. It's like, well, here's what it is.
You say you can't do the whole season, but we've seen it before. 3-4-3 under Conte. It was Hazard,
or even if you want to be more specific, it don't have to
Hazard,
be a
Costa, and someone else. At least two.
And Williams.
That's the thing for me.
So you can actually, you can do.
For me, it's definitely Lukaku and Havertz.
Yeah. I think.
And then it's
someone else. You mix it.
Yeah, for me it'd be Pulisic, just because I think he'd work better. But I can understand the Mount argument.
Mount will play the big games away.
Oh, he will.
Because he likes his tactical flexibility. So he'll play the big games away. He'll play away to City.
Yeah, I know he will.
United, like Liverpool, everything like that. It's probably Spurs. People say he might not start.
He shouldn't start.
Spurs, I know he shouldn't. Maybe he shouldn't. Sorry, maybe he shouldn't. Maybe you're right. But he does tend to start him in the bigger games, and what you might not see Tottenham.
Who creates in the front three of Havertz, Lukaku, and Pulisic?
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Havertz and Pulisic.
And Pulisic.
Both of them.
I don't know, man. I don't think. I really don't see Pulisic.
Pulisic doesn't really create, though.
I don't think Pulisic is creative.
Havertz definitely does.
I don't see Pulisic.
Pulisic is not creative player.
Yeah, he isn't. Okay. He's just he's more of a dribbler and a runner.
He's dribbler, exactly. He's not creative.
Yeah.
What about Havertz?
He's clinical as well. So
I think Havertz is a little bit selfish. If he will start passing, he will be one of those creative offensive players. But so far, he's been a little bit selfish.
Is he that currently? Or is he inconsistent?
He's inconsistent in the creating part.
I think he's just tired.
They're all inconsistent, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, because they're young. You forget how old is Kai Havertz? How old is Havertz?
He's
21.
Inconsistent.
He's 21.
No,
come on.
Yeah, 20.
He's 21 or 20. One of the two. I can't remember which.
You can't put the consistency. Consistency you expect from 28 years old player.
No, that's not. I'm not. No, I think just the general question is who is the creative person at the moment. There's not much or any at all.
Our most creative player is Mateo
They're
Kovacic.
inconsistent.
No,
right now, in the last few games, he's been the most creative player. He's been in the last 2 games. He has been our most creative player.
The guy is just like a worm with a lubricant on it. You cannot squeeze him in the tight spaces. He will somehow sneak out of it. So what I'm saying, like, he's not creative. He just a weasel. That's really good weasel. When he goes into the top of a box, he just loses. He's like, "Oh my god, I have too many choices. And he fucks it up and hits in the top of a stand. He is really good, and like getting out of space. If he wasn't for Kovacic, Jorginho wouldn't be who he is, because Jorginho cannot do what Kovacic does. Jorginho will pass it back. Kovacic will turn around. He's like, you know what? I'll see what I can do. And he's like, I'm dry. Nobody touched me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Redneck, we got no one that can do what Jorginho does. That's a problem. At least we put Kante in there. He does something similar to Kovacic at times.
I think I'm not gonna say this for 100% because I'm not sure, but I have a thing that Kovacic does not understand what Kante how to connect with Kante. That's why Kovacic and Kante doesn't play. Jorginho and Kante play.
I'm gonna bounce. I got another live stream.
Oh, come on, Jester. I just came here for you, mate.
I'm sorry. I have another live stream in 10 minutes, and I have to get some.
Hey, send me a link just so I can come to that one too and see your lovely face.
I heard Jorginho's name, and I feel like his name's been slandered. But I won't concentrate. Take care, Jesters. What was
the reason why Kovacic and Kante doesn't
We
work?
was always want to protect Jorginho.
He's not protecting.
Like the reason why no one else works in that midfield when Jorginho is not in there is because we have no one who can sit.
Nah, it works when Kante's in there. It just works.
Wake up, lads.
It can work, but what Jorginho does, he's actually directing that play.
What Kante does is he creates turnovers, right, which creates attacks for us. That's something nobody else does, except Mount.
Yeah, but I don't need that from Mount. Is the thing.
Ooh,
I know Tuchel.
I never thought about that. Yeah, you do.
Be an argument.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
do.
care.
Yeah, wait, wasn't Mount like top 5 creators in like Europe last season?
No.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
get
he
this
was
right. Yeah,
actually.
let's get this right. Yeah, he was. Do not look at chances. Look at big chances. He's 7th in the Premier League in big chances, which is high.
These same stats
which is
you're talking about.
high. Yeah. Just
want to point out as well. All these stats you're talking about being creative. Willian had these same stats, and then got 9 assists in his best season.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't, bro. Oh, yes, he did. He was always consistently up there with chance creation.
No, he wasn't.
It wasn't like last season.
William was a bomb.
He was always up there in terms of chance creation.
No, he wasn't.
Year. Yes, he was.
Hey, but
Every single year
to
he
the
was up there in
conversation.
chance creation, and then he got like no assists.
For you
It's
guys,
like Andrew said, it's about big
conversation
chances.
you guys were having, right, on Mount and that position, and I think I talked to you on Twitter today a bit about it too. But under Tuchel's system, it's a very different role. We need one of those top threes to drop back, right, to the midfield to make the midfield free. And who's going to drop back? And that's why I say Mount, Havertz, and Lukaku are our best three, because one of them can drop back. But Mount's done it all last season. And when you put Ziyech, Werner, Cho, none of them are going to do it. And in the system when we played for Werner as well, Mount is the guy that dropped back. One of them has to drop and make the midfield free, right? You guys know this. And when you throw out the names and you say Pulisic struggles in this, Ziyech struggled. You guys have seen it, right? You've seen it all last year. And so that's why Mount is probably going to get the pick over them and play a lot more. And then from the passes, who plays? We don't play with traditional roles anymore.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a guy that can play in the midfield, that can also play inside forward and score goals. We're asking. Lucky we have Havertz, and we hope Havertz and Mount develop so much. But yeah, we're asking so much from people in these positions. They're going to be the most important. And I don't think Werner, Ziyech, Cho can do it. I reckon they're going to get phased out from the team.
I'll be real.
Unless they adapt.
Like I said, against teams that sit back and sit deep, you don't need another man to drop into the midfield because it just allows the other team to go, cool, you have the ball in the midfield. You need players that are going to break the lines, that are going
you don't have to play
little pockets of space. That's what I'm saying. Against teams like
it
City,
does when
Liverpool,
when the team that's sitting in is still a very good team. Like Zenit they hadn't lost in 18 games. They didn't have crap players. They just chose a system.
Can we agree that they were actually?
But that's what I'm saying.
They just decided to play a system, but the players were still really good. If they saw that hole in our system that we didn't have a player dropping in to make a midfield 3, they would have attacked us more and exploited it.
Yeah, what they did was
because it wasn't there. Like it wasn't Aston Villa. Aston Villa saw it and they were exploiting it throughout the entire half. Yes, Saul losing the ball also helped them, but they were exploiting that then the whole half.
But I agree, but Mount should
they couldn't exploit that.
That's what I'm saying. Those open games where a team's going to attack you and come at you, Mount needs to play because then it helps the midfield and he's going to have the more space to work. Against
Everybody
teams
said he needed
like
a
Burnley,
rest.
like a Zenit, it's not going to work because you saw it. He can't play in the little pockets of space. He just can't. At least not right now.
It is going to work. His passing was terrible. Was off today.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Bro,
And he does. No. In this match, every single thing he tried didn't come off. And there are matches that some things he doesn't find, but he always has an excellent ball in him. He always creates 1 or 2 chances. He didn't do that. So he was just off.
So then I'm going to bring up the fact that I noticed some similarities to the Villa game as well, and it could be a little chink in the armor of our tactics now, and teams might be getting on because in the Villa game, Havertz was the guy that was doing what Mount did and dropped into the middle, right? And now Mount did this game, and Zenit went after him, right? And so did Havertz as well. And this is a weak spot for us now on when to turn over the ball, right? And they let our wingbacks, they let them free, right?
Oh, go AM. Oh my gosh, I can't even put that tweet up, that post up.
Oh,
fucking hell, man.
Jesus Christ.
I want to say it now.
Oh my
Even he, do you know what? Even he knows it's bad because he didn't super chat it. So even he knows he's got his limit. He's got his limit, so he didn't super chat.
Yeah, I can't I don't have my limit. I still would have put it up, but
I know exactly, but he knows now.
Fucking hell, man.
Sorry, Declare. I'm gonna go, guys. Speak to you later.
Take care, man. Big up Henry saying Pooley doesn't start over Mount. Stop it. Up for debate. That's a perfectly good debate for us to have. But I'm not going to be reactionary off the last game. Harrison Hunter also says, what player do you predict joins the Arsenal retirement home next? If it ever happens, champions of Europe. Marcus Alonso. That's my next bet.
No, man, that would be the best player.
If Conte becomes Arsenal manager, I wouldn't doubt it.
Conte.
Conte.
Oh, Conte. Oh, yeah. Maybe, but he won't last a year there. Big up Em as well. What are you telling me, man? What was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was very rough to watch, you know. It was very, very rough. But everyone's there. I feel like games like this are needed because we need to grind out results in it, to be honest. It's not always going to be rosy, even the talent we have. That's why Lukaku was an excellent signing because you see last season, we probably would have lost that or drew the game in it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we need to test out this Werner and Lukaku and see what it will actually do because we ain't really tested it out. So, and you know what I'm saying? And with Mount is allowed to have a shit game from time to time. You get it? It doesn't take away that he's a good player in it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just 4 minutes. So, you get me, fam. And Ziyech just needs a good run. Like, Ziyech, he never gets a good run into the team. So, people get onto him, but it's like he just never gets a good run. You get it? So it's hard to get onto someone that doesn't really play consistently. So yeah, man.
I think that's the problem. Sorry to cut you off there. I think that's the problem with most of our attackers, bar Mount and Havertz. Like they never get a good run in a team. Like Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, Pulisic, they're never able to get a good run in a team.
Sure. It's true. I think Tuchel does contradict a little bit because it's like, oh yeah, Odoi is ready, Odoi is this and that, but then he wouldn't never play him, and then he'll just play in one match. And next game he won't play. Like I don't know, man. It's a very tough. Like, it's not like Man City's like attackers. They could interchange. Like 1 minute Sterling won't play. Next game he plays, he'll score. Do you get it? Our attackers are not like that. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a mentality thing.
Now we're trying to shoehorn players into different positions. Like we don't play with wingers, and so we're trying to get wingers to play
inside
different roles.
Yeah. I think it will come in it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the players are young enough that we can make it work. And if we can't, it's because the players are not good enough. Like, you should be able to adapt your game even a little bit with the level of manager. Or we've got to admit we haven't got as good a manager as we think we do, which I don't think is true. With the level of manager,
it's a characteristic as well, Scott. Like if you're always playing, like I'll give you an example. If you're a winger, you're always used to playing in the line, right? Now all of a sudden you're going to play really close in the middle, and instinctively you get a habit of drifting wide, right? Even when you're told not to. And I think remember that game where he pulled him off. Cho came off. Remember Cho came off as a sub. That game, that's what he was doing.
We've only got like
just drifting off too much.
We've only got like.
I agree, but then I think
we've only got like two.
I think with that, I agree, but then I think that if you can't adapt your game and you're really one-dimensional, you've got to be exceptional at that one dimension. Because if you're not, you're just not good enough. Then, but then the best players you see,
you would agree. You would agree, Scott, that if he goes to another team, and this is what I believe too, that another team that play 4-3-3, wide out wingers.
Yeah, it's a system.
You put Pulisic, Joe, that will kill it. It's just that as soon as, and this is how Lampard wanted to play. That's why he got these players, right? And even Ziyech as well.
But there was no balance. There was no balance because our team, if you put Rudiger in the back two, he's suspect. You get it? Our team, we need that balance. That's why we play this three at the back. So it just Yeah, we lose a supply up front. Like, we lose an attacker, but we need that balance. That's why
But that's the
we
same
won
thing.
Champions
Like
League,
if you
innit?
see
Do you
on
know
the
what I'm
flip
saying?
end, if you see on the flip end, what Scott was saying, oh yeah, if he plays a back four and they're not able to play in the back four, that just means they're not good enough. It's just the system doesn't suit them, but the system is suiting them and not suiting our attackers now.
Attackers.
And
But
now we're
then I
saying the
think
exact same thing
Tuchel,
about them.
just wants Lukaku to score. I think he needs to focus on making sure the other players can just pick up, can start scoring as well. Because if Lukaku does get injured, God forbid, we are fucked.
Yeah, we're done.
We are really fucked. Because I don't see anyone scoring. I really don't. Like, it's just going to be sad. So we need to find a way to balance it. Get these attackers, like, he needs to just play the same team, play the same attackers, and just get them running, get them scoring, and then start changing it. Because this changing, they're not used to it. They don't have this Man City mindset where they can drop one game, come back the next game, and start scoring. It's just not going to happen, man.
And we need our wing backs to contribute more too.
Who?
The wing backs.
Yeah.
They try though. You get Alonso with the odd goal in it, and hey, with this Chilwell thing, Chilwell will get games in it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing bare like talk sports saying something about why is Chilwell not playing. Listen, Chilwell ain't really played football that much, so to just draft someone that hasn't played football, it's a bit mad in it. He will get games in it because we all know he's better than Alonso, but he will get eased in slowly in it. I don't know why everyone's trying to make a big fuss. Like,
you're muted, Lewis.
Just mad.
Yeah, sorry. I'm surprised he even needs to be weaned into games like this because didn't need it for James, he didn't need it for Mount, and he played less time than all of them.
Like,
so
he's not fit. Like, Chilwell's not fit. Like, he hasn't really played football.
But he's more injury prone than all of them.
Like, they'll ease him. Like, remember when Tuchel first came?
Yeah.
Chilwell?
Tuchel only playing when Tuchel first came. Tuchel never played.
Without getting any game time,
James had his fair share of injuries last season, to be fair.
Yeah, Reece James was injured quite a lot.
But you know, none of our
both
wing
of them
backs
were
are dynamic though. None of our wing backs.
Although half of that was Lampard overplaying him and bringing him
True.
back too early.
But then none of our wing backs are wing backs though, apart from Alonso.
I was going to say, like,
Reece James is not really a wing back.
I think the game yesterday just highlighted why we were looking at Hakimi and Traore and why we're now looking at Sane.
Yeah,
you see, I feel like we would have done with Traore.
Not as wing back, Sane not as wing back, but just Sane in general in terms of as a forward player.
I don't get the Sane rumor. I've mentioned this before.
Like,
But he falls into the barrel of the other problems we got with the wingers. They're not we're gonna get Sane and try to play him, you know, in the shoehorn inside forward, and the extra role. Does he fall back? And if he doesn't, because one of them falls back, and then the best move you can do is someone becomes two up front.
Yeah,
you don't have to fall back. Depending on the team you're playing, you don't need to fall back. There's no point having three in the midfield if the other team is not going to attack you and is just going to go, you can have the ball.
That's true.
Then you're just allowing them to do what they want.
True.
No, it's not fallbacks for defensive reasons. It's how Tuchel wants, right? It's when it's a transition from when Kovacic or Jorginho get the ball. So as you know when we hold possession nice at the back and we almost counter press, right? And from there, one of them drops deep and the wing backs bomb on, right? Yeah. And that's why Mount always played, because Mount played when he was the preferred one to drop deep, right? And then Werner was the guy that played on the line of the defender, right? And it was real easy for that option to knock the ball over, and someone has to drop there. Now, what I love is that we got Havertz and Mount on the same team, right? On the same time, and it can kind of yo-yo one of it. It doesn't always have to be Mount, right? But then when one of them doesn't play, right? It's always Havertz or Mount, and then the person that stays up there, whether it's Werner, Ziyech, or Cho, Pulisic, whoever it is, becomes almost like that second striker.
No,
right?
but
Because
I think
that is the closest thing to the winger at the moment.
I think it depends the opponent. If you're playing a big team, I think Mason Mount has to play because the energy he gives us, because it counter attacks let's say we play United and they got Pogba, Fernandes, and what's his name, whoever they got in their midfield. You need Mason Mount as that. You need Mason Mount as that third midfielder so that it counter attacks what they do. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So there's gonna be games where Mount is gonna be needed, and there's gonna be games where if you're talking about creativity, who's better? Havertz is obviously better creative than Mount, but Mount gives you that work. I think Havertz is better. No. I think Havertz is better creative-wise, bro. Creative, I think he's better But even look at their stats.
What chances does Havertz really create, though?
Bro, their stats are not.
Havertz not a creator, bro. You're
Bro,
watching.
Yeah, Havertz is more
look
of
at
a
their stats
finisher,
last year, bro.
like
It's
an
not
attacker.
really. It's not way off, you know. I'm talking about goals scored and assists, bro. It's not too similar. Obviously, Mount had more chances created because he played more games, etc. But if you look at the stats, it's not really much difference. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, man, just depends on the opponent, innit?
Which is a good thing. We want them to, you know, they're doing similar roles, and we want them to have similar stats.
Yeah,
and we know that they're doing the role properly.
I have no problem with Mount playing or Havertz playing together. My main issue is the wing backs, because I watch a lot of Serie A and a lot of teams play three at the back and wing backs. The wing backs need to have one-on-one ability, like to drive the ball, crossing it in, but none of our wing backs do that.
Because they don't have. That's not their personality. Like Alonso ain't gonna. Alonso's got a bit of skill, but he's not gonna beat you with his skill. Like he's just there to score goals.
I was watching.
Yeah, but they're starting to learn to leave our wing backs a bit. You know, it's not a threat. Because what was happening in those games was now they went after Mount, let the wing backs, freedom of the role. So when we got a ball to James or Alonso, right, they're a bit more isolated, not much of an option for them, and you know they're not going to take on anyone. That's why I think he tried that Cho, but Cho didn't do it too. So it wasn't that greatest game for him. We were expecting that from him. Even at the least.
The wing back needs to isolate the fullbacks like one-on-one to provide space for the inside forwards to make runs in the box.
Go AM, man. Oh my god. Go AM.
What's he done
I don't
now?
even know, man. I just feel like when
Missing persons reports, Johnny Minerals, aka Brexit Pep, last seen with a Stella outside the bridge, approach with caution, can be violent backstage. I know that took you about 10 minutes to figure that one out as well. Big respect for the fucking donation and everything. Johnny, I think we'll be on here tomorrow, so we will have a conversation about Mason Mount on tomorrow's stream about it.
Shit, Johnny.
He did say it'll be about tomorrow, so we'll
Luis,
have
why can't we have why can't I have a Johnny discussion without Mount? Is that possible? Can you try to pull it off?
You know it's not possible.
Can you? Hey, can we make a bet? Like, can we see how long you can go out with? How long you can go with Johnny without mentioning Mount?
We're trying.
I know it's not going to happen.
What's happened yesterday? Not happening. No chance.
Yeah. I believe. I agree. It's not going to happen. But how long is the question? Can it be like 5? Can you do 2 minutes? Can you do 5 minutes at least?
3 minutes. 5 seconds.
I think 30 seconds. I don't think he'll last, to be honest. But if you can make it to 5 minutes, I'm going to donate a super chat.
Johnny's a defender, man. See, that's where I'll test.
And I'll do a bonus, Lewis.
Nah, man, I'm not scared.
Sorry, I'll do a bonus, Lewis. If you get him Gilmore as well, if he doesn't mention Gilmore or Mount, there's a bonus in there.
Oh, fuck's sakes, that was my way out of it. I can't be arsed. Now
the Mount one still applies. It's only a bonus if you do the Gilmore.
I accept your challenge. I'm going to try and get back to work.
Chad's going to be here, remember?
Oh my god.
Does the 2 minute timer count, by the way?
Yeah, go on. Let's go. Let's try.
Let's try. I mean, does the 2 minute timer count as 5 minutes?
The intro. No. It's when you introduce him. Okay, we go Johnny, and then from there it starts.
All right, bro. You know Johnny's already going to talk about Mount as soon as he enters the thing.
Let's have it.
Scott was like shaking his head, but I'm not having this.
You already know Johnny.
I'm glad I'm aware.
He's already gone like that.
Right, listen, Johnny's Johnny, innit? Like,
yeah, big up Johnny in the cut. Anyway.
He's got some. He makes some good points in it. When he talks about Mount, you get me. You already know what it is, but he makes some good points. You get it. Don't get twisted, like. But it's just Mount's his favorite guy in it. He loves Mount for some reason, and you get me.
But he's got good points, but then like he gets drifted off defending, and that's all he's doing. He starts defending like it's like everyone's attacking him in Chelsea.
But I feel like
and sometimes misses points.
I think the last couple of games Mount has played, I think decision making has been a bit poor. Because
Don't forget to join the lottery for the new free Chelsea shirt.
I think he's been wanting to score a lot of goals. I don't know.
Right. Anyone got any other final thoughts before we wrap up the stream? God, my head is
Rest
killing
in peace, Ray Wilkins. That's all.
Yes. Rest in peace to King Ray Wilkins. 4 years to the day. Rest in peace.
We just got to be positive, man. As long as we win, we'll take the win right now, innit?
Yeah.
Performances can come
Yeah.
later. Just keep
Apart
winning.
from that, probably about the Rudiger contract situation, though.
I think he's gonna leave. You know, I think he's gonna leave, man.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Rudiger might be on his way out.
Yeah, he's
Where's
got
he gonna go?
Like he just wants more money in it.
I'm gonna hold that for tomorrow's stream, so we'll talk about that then. But yeah, big up everyone that's locked in. Smash the like and subscribe button. All of that you already know. We will be back tomorrow for
Have
yet
a good
another
one,
live
guys.
stream. Big up everyone. Take care. Like and subscribe, and as always, up the Chels.